how long is TJ gonna have to do his job before they just give him his gig? Like, you know what, you do his job so much anyway. You know, like I'm saying, right? Like, it's like, for instance, like if I just start hosting today, everybody gonna be like, man, Ox is such a better host. He might as well be the host. You know what I mean? So it's like TJ's such a better point guard at this point. It's just like, bro, Rick, if you want to win, you know what to do.
I mean, but that's not what's been going on all season long. That's not what's been going on all playoffs long. That's not what
we not talking about all season long shit. We're just talking about right now.
And see, that's the thing, Ox. You brought up
even in the finals, though. Like,
and I'm not going to argue that TJ. I'm not going to argue that TJ's been fantastic. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to act like Tyrese Haliburton isn't the main reason why we're here. He's not. Let's not act like as good as TJ has been in these NBA finals, Tyrese Haliburton isn't the. I mean, we got an all-pro guard on our crew. There's a reason why we've been deep into the playoffs 2 years in a row. There's a reason why we've been the best team since January 1. Tyrese Haliburton has a lot to do with that. And I don't want to
y'all too sentimental for basketball. Chill.
No, I'm not. No,
I've come to realize that these playoffs this season that y'all are too sentimental for basketball. Too sentimental. I don't care who drove here. I don't got nothing to do with it. We got a job to do.
It's work. Yes.
Sometimes you got to drive and then sit your ass in the car and let us go do our thing.
Okay, I can get with that. That part I can get with, Ox. But I did drive us here. So what you're not going to do
much love. You get much love.
You get credit for doing that. You get credit for driving.
Here's the difference, though, fellas. You're not going to leave me outside the venue because I don't got enough dough on me.
If we get to the venue,
you're going to do that.
And they say,
I filled up the car.
They say no shoes, no service, and you decide to not show up in any shoes, that's your problem. We're not meant to now cancel the whole trip because you decided to not show up with some shoes.
Nah, fuck that. We all going back home. Niggas ain't gonna leave me. Y'all ain't gonna leave me in the car like a little kid. Y'all ain't gonna leave me in the car like a little kid.
So you would lose the finals to stick with Haliburton.
Cut your nose off to spite your face. Cut your nose off to spite your face.
OKC go ride or die with SGA. And I can promise you
that. He ain't killing him.
He's not, but if he was, they go ride or die with SGA.
I'll be saying the same thing.
Just like the Miami Heat rolled or died with LeBron James.
Right.
And he drove the motherfucker straight off the highway.
See, you reminiscing about 2014.
You guys have benched Haliburton yesterday. When you seen the third quarter that TJ McConnell had, him and Pascal practically single-handedly bringing them back into the game. It was a 2-point game at one point. Mm-hmm. Would you have brought back Haliburton in place of TJ McConnell like Rick Carlisle did?
I would. Here's the thing, Mars. Haliburton coming back in the game. TJ McConnell not leaving the game. And if he does take a quick break, and we were on playback watching this game, I said, TJ, and me and Ox talked about it. I said, I actually said, I'm not sitting down TJ McConnell. Ox was like, nah, he got to get a quick break. I said, no, I'm not taking him out the game. With that being said, Haliburton's playing too. I'm playing them both together. Nembhard, Nembhard has kind of flown under the radar because he's not the star caliber player that Haliburton is. TJ McConnell's been out playing Nembhard too. So, but also with that being said, Nembhard's the main one is checking SGA. But Nembhard and Neesmith haven't had amazing series. TJ could play for one of them. On top of that, Miles Turner, you haven't really been doing too much. Pascal, for all I'm concerned, Pascal could play center. Miles Turner, you could come sit down. Obi Toppin, you don't have to come in. You know what? I'm saying that to say Haliburton's going to play no matter what. For better or for worse.
I don't agree.
TJ McConnell, you're playing for better because, well, you've been playing better. So you're going to play. But I'm riding. I'm living and dying with the results of Haliburton. I'm living and dying.
This is not an old head. This is not an old head take. You have to roll
head or not.
You have to roll with who got you there. You have to roll with who got you there. And I'm not cutting off my nose to spite my face because Tyrese Haliburton, for all intents and purposes, he wasn't good yesterday, Ox. And I said this to you last night. At some point, you got to look at TJ McConnell and go, I need to get on my job. It's not that my job is not secure or anything like that. That's not the issue. But this dude clearly came to do his job. And I feel like TJ took us as far as he could take us. Because if TJ stays on the floor yesterday, do they beat Oklahoma City? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, if Tyrese Haliburton doesn't play the rest of the game, if he doesn't play the rest of the game, it could affect him moving forward. And we need him. We 100% need him. It could affect him moving forward.
Don't do this right now.
No,
you know exactly.
And it's not Ron. I mean, Ox, it's not a soft thing. No, that's not what this is about. This is not about being soft. But what I'm saying
it's about not being mentally tough. Then it's
not about being mentally tough neither.
It's not mentally strong.
I got to get on my job. I clearly have to get on my job. I got to get on TJ McConnell's page. I got to get on Siakam's page. I got to get with these dudes. Just like when they haven't had it going. Well, this is why we have the best record in the league. This is why we had the best record since January 1st. Because there were times when they didn't have it going. And I got going. And they recognized they got to get on my page. We can't just leave him behind now.
They got benched when guys don't perform.
And Haliburton got benched.
Came back.
It wasn't like he played the whole game, Mars. He did.
No one plays the whole game. No one's Wilt Chamberlain. But Haliburton played. Besides the fact that he came out early in the first quarter because calf tightness, Haliburton played pretty much his regular minutes in the second half. Played pretty much his regular rotation.
Tyrese should have splinters in his ass.
I don't see the issue for a singular game when someone doesn't have it, putting them on the bench. I don't care who you are. If you're not helping the team win, especially when it's a do or die game 5 in the finals. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Killian Hayes. I don't care who you are. If you're not helping the team win, get off the court. But there's no time for you to be like, wait, you're actually the biggest reason we're here in the finals. So you could just play like trash and we have to stick with you. No.
That's not
no, because if I lose this game, you're now down 3-2. And I'm not saying they're down 3-2 because Rick Carlisle stuck with Haliburton. Like, there's many reasons why.
Right.
But that didn't help. That didn't help. I'll say that. That didn't help.
Hey, Mars, good evening, by the way. I just want to say, Haliburton, I'm with Ox and I'm with Mars. His ass should have been on the bench yesterday. He was scared. That's what he was.
In replace of who, though? Like, okay, we can establish. Okay, no, we can establish TJ McConnell should have been on the floor. That is, we don't have to even debate that. We all know that. Yeah. There's 4 other spots. Pascal is locked in. So TJ and Pascal. The 3 other spots, who are you going with?
Nimhard, Neesmith, and Obi. Let's rock.
Obi, Nimhard, Neesmith. Right. My thing is this. And we can. I'm not saying leave Haliburton on the bench the whole game. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that fourth quarter where Rick Carlisle decided not to put TJ McConnell in the game and
10 minutes. He subbed him out at the 10-minute mark.
Yes, and decided not to watch Nimhard struggle and Haliburton struggle. And the struggles that Nimhard doing, it's bonehead plays. It's like, I just turn the ball over. I'm okay with that. The struggles that Tyrese Haliburton doing is scary. He's scary. He's scared. He come off the pick and roll, pick his dribble up every single time because he can't beat nobody off the dribble, and then he cry for a foul. All this putting my hands up. No, I had to come. You know what? I'm glad we're here today because I had to come to my senses and I had to, be a man and man up. Tyrese Haliburton ain't better than Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell would have went 5 for 30 last night.
Well, yeah, he would have emptied the clip. I don't think that makes you a better player.
No. In the finals, that make you a better player, Mark. Tally hasn't had, besides the game where he had a near triple-double game before that.
Game
but,
30?
But like, brother, we need you to start playing. You've been playing like trash. All this side-to-side dribbling, passing, turning the ball. Bro, come on, bro. We need you to get downhill.
When you come off a pick, you come off a high pick. When you come off a high pick and you got was it Isaiah Hartenstein? When you come off a high pick, you got Isaiah Hartenstein out there, and it's just a big gap between him and the sideline. Now you're not getting around that hip to put some pressure on the defense instead, and you don't even keep your dribble alive and go back the other way, but instead Isaiah Hartenstein high heads is making you pick up your dribble when we got 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Scared, bro.
That's no good. That's
scared,
no bueno.
Bro.
That's no bueno. You come sit with me over here. Come over here.
All of the frantic dribbling from side to side, from damn near half court, frantic. It's too much. Should nobody be able to guard you from damn near half court, bro? Get by there.
I feel like this is such an overreaction.
It is a little bit wrong. It is a little bit. But with that,
really
because
do.
with that being said,
But we're
we could
talking
talk about how
last
good
night's
J
game.
Dub, how good
Mars,
J Dub.
Besides Donovan Mitchell versus Haliburton, Jordan brought that up. Everything we said has been explicitly about last night's game.
No, I get it, but I'm gonna say why it's an overreaction.
Okay.
Because you guys are talking about benching a guy.
Game, Ron. A must-win game, Ron.
Okay, so what?
Their life is on the line, bro.
Obviously, I get that. I understand that. My thing is, and I know it didn't happen, but if he would have made 2 or 3 of the threes that he shot and went 2 for 4, the conversation is completely different. Yes,
if Hallie played better,
no, that's not what I'm saying, Mars. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. You got if he makes 2 or 3 of those shots. No, this is what I'm saying.
100.
Jordan wouldn't be up here talking about him dribbling.
That 100% ties into
2
what you're
threes
saying.
don't change.
No,
shit,
listen to what So can you guys let me finish what I'm about to say?
Yes, it does.
Can you let me finish what I'm about to say before you?
So you're telling me if
you can't say something we all disagree with, though.
No, you didn't even let me say what I'm about to say.
No, that part of the statement, I think we disagree.
Oh, okay. Let me go further into what I'm saying.
Okay,
so
please elaborate, brother.
No, here's what I'm saying. Are you guys expecting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to shoot 10 threes next game? Are you expecting him to go 7 for 10?
No.
Are you expecting iHeart to shoot 4 threes and make 3 of them?
No.
The point I'm making, I'm saying that to say we're not expecting these guys to be who they aren't. Haliburton has been this player all season. He's not split pick and rolls. He's not dribble side to side. He is a player that dribbles east to west and probes the defense and looks to get other players off in the way that he does. He has a unique style of play that nobody else plays like. He did this in the first round. They won the first round. He did this in the second round. They won the second round. He did this in the finals, and they won 2 games. In fact, they went up 1-0. I didn't hear none of you guys saying bench him when they went up 1-0. They went up 2-1. Jordan, I didn't hear you say bench him. Ox, I did not hear you. Well, Ox, you've been consistent with the TJ McConnell, but you never said bench Tyrese Haliburton because he didn't split a pick and roll. That's the only reason why I'm saying that we're overreacting, because this is who Tyrese Haliburton is.
No,
I've never seen him split a pick and roll.
It's about last night. He
shouldn't have played.
Right, he shouldn't have played in the fourth quarter. That trash for that as long as he played.
But what about game 1 when he was playing trash and then turned it on in the last 3 minutes?
Yeah,
what
but
about
he wasn't turning it on. He didn't
do that last
night.
night.
Didn't know that though.
But
Carlisle should have knew that.
But this the
problem.
That's not our job.
That's
not
bro. But McConnell had it going.
Job.
Bro, if somebody, bro, as a coach, bro, and I think
he didn't have it going
like
game 1.
And he took it as far as
that's why it's easier to keep Haliburton in game 1. No disrespect.
Nobody had
no one on Indiana really was going crazy. So
last night nobody was either.
Yeah. That's a lie. We just talked about TJ.
And that's why I said what I just said. You have TJ, you have Pascal. The other 3 players, no. Benedict Mathurin was 2 for 11. Nimhart finished the game with what? 7 points?
Yes.
Nobody else was going. You can say Neesmith.
The difference with like a Nemhard, who I also think sold the game in the 4th. Like, he's out there for the other sides of the ball more than the other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Haliburton's not going to replace that. So game 1, I understand why Haliburton was in the game down the stretch, even though Haliburton wasn't playing well to that point, because no one else really had it going. So there was no other options. Like, you're going to bank on your best player picking it up, or we'll live with him in this game because no one else is a better option. Last night there was a better option. They went away from the better option to keep Haliburton in, and he didn't help the team. Now I do agree with the team, Mars. He hurt the team. When someone said earlier, Haliburton didn't help the team, I think it was Chill. Yeah, he actively made the team worse yesterday. This is just, I think, logical. But I do agree with Ron on the fact that this is who Haliburton's been, and this is why I've been very against the jumping of the gun with Haliburton. This is why I've been against seeing he's a top 5 player on Twitter. This is why I've been against he's a top 10 player now. If they win the chip, he's top 7. This is why I've been against it. I think Haliburton is really, really good. I'm not as high on him as Ron, obviously not. I think he's a top 5 point guard in the NBA. I think he's 5th, but I think he's a top 5 point guard in the NBA. I think his skill set is very valuable. I think his ability to make the right decision more often than not is really valuable. I think his ability to shoot the ball is really valuable. I think his ability to get off the ball is really valuable. I think his improved defense is actually helping his case. But that man can't create shots for himself. He hasn't been able to do it for 2 years. And that's been my biggest issue with Haliburton for 2 years. You can go back and watch a year ago when Haliburton was going through the hot streak. You can go back and watch anything I've said about Haliburton. My biggest issue with him has been, and I spoke about it during the playoffs last year.
You've always
This
been critical
man,
of
when he
his shot
dribbles,
selection.
he hops. And he can't create separation
Very
because
frantic.
his feet aren't on the ground. So, like, I don't know how to
Very
explain
frantic.
it. His feet aren't touching the ground at all times, so he can't explode at any given moment. And that to me is a big issue.
Hey, Mars, what's that little dance y'all be doing over there in Ireland where they play the little
Irish
That's
dance.
how he dribbles.
over
With his
there.
feet be
Like,
tapping like that.
It's genuinely ridiculous.
Hey,
And
Mark,
anyone who
what's
watched
that
the
dance
show
you
for
do
a
over
year
there in
can
Ireland?
tell you,
Damn,
I've
Mark.
been
Did
saying
ever
that
look
for
the
a year.
Irish dance?
I've been saying that for over a year, and I've said that's an issue to me with Haliburton. His inability to create advantages by himself individually and capitalize on those advantages individually is what holds him back from being a Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. Is what holds him back from obviously being a Steph, a Luka, SGA in that, like, those top 4 point guards. I understand the Donovan Mitchell conversation because Donovan Mitchell, if there's 2 things that are guaranteed, is A, he's a clearly better scorer than Tyrese Haliburton, and B, he will empty the clip even if he doesn't have a go.
100%.
Now, I will say that's a
And on the
double-edged sword.
defensive end, it's separation too. But keep going.
Sure, but I think there's a double-edged sword with Donovan Mitchell and the emptying the clip stuff because sometimes he can get his teammates out of rhythm doing that.
Sure.
So like there's positives and negatives. Like, I'm willing to have that.
But when
conversation.
your teammates don't got it going, you need your starter empty the clip.
I agree, and Haliburton
So-
just doesn't have that gear, in my opinion, and especially consistently. Now, down the stretch of games in these playoffs, he's been amazing. I don't think anyone can take that away from him. But consistently throughout a game, I think that's the thing that holds him back from being in those talks, regardless of the Pacers team success. I think what's happened is people have just underrated this Pacers team to uplift Haliburton.
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at Prize Picks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With Prize Picks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections in every single stat line imaginable to make your Prize Picks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with Prize Picks. So what are you waiting for? Download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. Prize Picks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
And this Pacers team masks a lot of his flaws, a lot of them. And that's
So
not,
I never lost
that's
that
not,
debate against Carson, then, pretty much.
Sure, congratulations, Jordan.
There you go.
Like,
There you go.
A lot of Haliburton's flaws get masked by his team, and I think that leads to some people saying he's better than he is. And I'm not saying it's a problem that the Pacers mask a lot of Haliburton's flaws, because that's what a team is meant to do for everyone. TJ McConnell's flaws are meant to be hidden by what's around him. Tyrese Haliburton's flaws are meant to be hidden by what's around him. Miles Turner, etc. That's how you build a good team, because no player is perfect. So if Pascal Siakam has a struggle with a certain thing, you want to have players around him who are good at that thing to offset Pascal Siakam's weakness. Same with Haliburton. The Pacers have done that, and somehow that's elevated Tyrese Haliburton to be a top 8, top 9 player in the NBA. And I just don't think that's the case. I think you look at Haliburton for what he is, and as an individual player, I think he's too flawed to be in the conversations that other people were putting him in. And I'm not even entertaining the Steve Nash stuff that I heard Ron again arguing last night. Like, we'll leave that to the wayside. Just his current standing in the NBA, he's not a top 10 player. He's not the third best point guard in the NBA. He's not those things. And that's okay. And that's absolutely fine. We just don't need to pretend he is because the Pacers are really good. Give the Pacers their credit and don't just give it all to Tyrese Haliburton. Like, Pascal was the conference finals MVP. And it was a deserved conference finals MVP, by the way. Like, I think Haliburton should have won it. Yep. But Pascal was definitely deserving. Like, he played really well in that series. And if the Pacers were to win the championship,
he gonna win the finals.
He'd be the finals MVP.
Yeah,
so, like, give Pascal his credit, give TJ his credit, give Nembhard his credit for what he does on defense. I think last night criticized him for in the fourth. Give Aaron Neesmith credit for that crazy putback dunk, but also talk about the fact that man can't stop fouling at all. Like, there's problems with everyone on the roster. We just don't need to act like they live or die with Haliburton. They don't. And they don't need to live or die with Haliburton. And that's okay.
And that's why, and Mars, that's why he should have been on him. That's why they should have took him out when TJ had it going, though. That's exactly why, though. They just took him out when TJ had it going.
So two things. Number one, Mars, like people listen to you and they take it literally, and they don't see the context that you just explained. So Tyrese Haliburton can't consistently create a shot. He can't consistently get downhill. I mean, he averages 18. He averages 18 a game. I'm not averaging 18 a game where I can't get to the rim, where I can't knock down an open shot. I can make an open shot. I can get to the rim.
Yeah, but that ain't creating a shot, though.
Well, where am I getting my buckets from? I'm not just getting
their offense. No, their offense is dribble drive.
Right, and their offense is dribble drive. I do have to get around people, Jordan.
A lot of Haliburton's offense comes from generated advantages. He plays out of advantage situations, and that once again, that's a good thing. You 100%. Don't want to be in a system where you are responsible for creating every advantage. But even within this system, the Pacers system, you need someone who can create an advantage by themselves. And Haliburton isn't going to do that consistently. Haliburton scores off when the Pacers are moving the ball around in rotation, then Haliburton catch and go quick. So he's going up against the closeout. So the advantage is being created for him. And then he can play out of it, and he's going to make the right read all the time, and he's going to get to a flow.
But we've also seen
he's not going to just go break you down off the dribble, draw two, split it, and then get to the rim. He's not going to do that. Like, that's not his game.
He's not going to do that consistently, Moss, because we have seen it. We have seen him do that. I have seen him when they get and teams have stifled their offense, where he's had to create a shot and get down.
Yes, he's been able to do it sporadic.
He has not been able to do that consistently. Now, to your point about TJ McConnell being on the floor, Ron, I vividly remember in 1992, the Chicago Bulls are down 15. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Horace, these dudes suck. They're down 15 in the fourth quarter. Phil Jackson yanks them dudes, gets them off the floor. Henson is on the floor now.
I was going to bring that up.
BJ Armstrong is on the floor now. Not only are they on the floor, they get them back in the game, right? They get them back in the game. Jordan is not sitting for the rest of the game. No, he is not. Scottie Pippen is not sitting on the bench for the rest of the game. No, get these dudes back in. Now, he got them back in, and Jordan ended up turning it around. That's what Rick Carlisle was trying to do with Haliburton. Hopefully,
how many points did Mike have in that game? How many points did Mike have in that game before that happened?
Oh, before that, I don't know, because Michael Jordan closed it out.
He didn't have zero.
No, of course not.
He didn't know the game of shot that he had.
Yeah, but come on, Jordan. Like, who are we comparing and who are we talking about? Like, stop. That's the best. That's the best
thing. We're talking about Tyrese. Tyrese not that level of dog. He's not that
right. So that's why he should have said. That's why he should have said it. That's exactly what I'm saying. He should have sat on the bench. I saw Kevin McHale do it to James Harden. I saw Kevin McHale do it to James Harden. Wasn't giving us nothing against the
2015,
Clippers.
2015.
Should he have? But should he have?
Cost him his job, by the way.
Corey Brewer had it going.
And it cost him his job, by the way.
No,
Corey Brewer and Josh Smith.
The next year. No, it didn't. He coasted to the next year. The next year what cost him his job was James Harden coming in out of shape. That's what cost him his job.
Him and James
Harden, but they got to the conference finals because he sat James Harden in the fourth quarter, didn't play him. Because he wasn't giving them nothing.
Let's just stick to this playoffs. And I want to go to a couple different games.
Okay.
When the best player in the NBA, Nikola Jokic, game 7 against the Clippers, only scored. Oh, no. Not that game.
Yeah,
let's go to
quite comfortable throughout. So
let's go to the game against the Thunder, game 2, where Jokic only scored 17 points.
They got blown out by 40 in that game, didn't they?
He still played 32 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't have zero.
Get game 7 in that series.
Are you saying he should have benched Jokic?
I'm asking you guys, should he have?
No,
game 7, it's a do or die game. In the words of Ox, it's a do or die game.
The difference, I think the one difference,
9 shots.
Yeah, the Caruso musculus. I've seen it. I think the difference is the Nuggets, and this is to their detriment. They have no other option. They have no other option other than Jokic. Either Jokic has it and we got a chance, or he doesn't have it,
Joel Embiid,
and it's over. If they had a TJ McConnell backup big playing like TJ did last night, I would say if Jokic ain't playing well, get him out the game. Like, if we're down the stretch of the game, it's close, and Jokic is playing like trash and hurting us, get him out the game. The issue is their other option is DeAndre Jordan.
All right, fair enough. I got a couple more examples. We're going to go to the next best player that's in the playoffs, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay.
Round 2 against the Denver Nuggets yet again. The game goes into overtime. Shai finishes the game 7 for 22. I don't know what he is in the fourth quarter, going through the fourth quarter. He played trash that night. He finished with 18 points on 7 for 22. If the game went into overtime, they lost. Do you then put in Casey Wallace? Do you then put in Aaron Wiggins? Because
was Casey balling? Was Casey balling that
even if let's just say for the sake of argument, Ox, he had it going. Are you sitting SGA?
No, but hold on.
Wait. If SGA's playing like Tyrese Haliburton was playing, and Casey Wallace was playing like TJ McConnell was playing, yes, I don't care. I don't care what your name is.
If that's the game I remember, if that's the game I remember,
it's my job as a coach.
Yes.
Chill. It's my job as a coach to not give a shit what your name is. That's my job. My job as a coach. My job as a coach is to figure out who is gonna win me this basketball game based on what I've been seeing.
So every day I come in. So I want to make sure that I'm understanding you, because this is what this shit sounds to me like. This shit sounds to me like every day I walk in here, I'm fighting for my job. I have no security.
You're not fighting for your job.
You should look at that. You should look at it like that, just like how college coaches look at it.
If I suck tonight, I ain't playing tonight. But
no. Oh well, wait. Okay, I thought no. Wait. But hold on. Wait. So you asked me that. Let me answer. I think I don't know as far as that. As I thought you were talking about from the coaching standpoint. Now, as a playing standpoint, I should my mind should be like, I need to produce in my minutes. I need to be ready to play. 100%. And if I don't produce in my minutes, I need to accept if somebody that's behind me in the depth chart is producing in their minutes and they're playing more minutes than me. That should be your mindset as a professional. As a professional, I should come to work ready to play, be in shape, be locked in, know the schemes. I should be tip top, know what's going on. Now, in the event that I am 0 for 10 and not giving anything on defense, and my backup just came into the game and gave us a quick 18 and brought us back in the game, I should know in my mind, it's fine. Like, I'm not doing shit. He's playing. Boom, that's good basketball. That in fact, I should accept and embrace a coach that's willing to do that.
Can I give one more example, please?
Hold on, before you give that example.
I got one that's so much more relatable. I promise you, this one should hit home. Yep. And if it doesn't, then you're just not home. You in a hotel or something. Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
What game was this? It was
Was Dante chopping, Ron?
The game was 126-128. They lost. Anthony Edwards played 40 minutes. He finished with 16 points. He went 5 for 13, and this was the game where he just wasn't shooting. If you ask me, he kind of looks scary. If this is the label you want to put on it, if this is how we're labeling players, he kind of looks scary.
He didn't finish with 0.
Was this game
0?
Was this game 4 of the Thunder series?
This was game 5.
The game that they almost won, and he.
No. You're right, Morris. It was game 4. It was game 4. Dante DiVincenzo, 23 points. No, 21 points. 5 for 8 from 3.
Playing the 4th?
Nikhil Alexander.
17.
Nikhil Alexander Walker.
23, same thing.
5 for 8. 23 points. They both went 5 for 8 from 3, and they both had plus 20 in that game.
Yeah, but how, Ron?
Very good.
My memory
how
of
was that
game
comparable?
Is Anthony Edwards actually played quite well in that game. So
but hold on, Mars, because how is this like you keep bringing up these examples? None of these examples is comparable to the game that Tyrese had last night. This man didn't do
it's not all going to be a one size fits all. I just wanted to go to different stars who they didn't play their best game. They didn't play their best game.
Finish with 0. Look.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you what this is. I'm not saying that Tyrese needed to score last night, and he didn't finish with 0. He had 4 points, but Tyrese needed to score more. He needed to score more. But also too, okay, but
so what?
None of in any of these examples, excluding Jokic, none of them had 7 assists. So I can say that too. That Tyrese Haliburton still. I'm saying that for a reason. Tyrese Haliburton is a pass first guy. I don't expect him to, on any given night, I don't expect Tyrese to score more than Jokic, Anthony Edwards, or Shea. Those are the other 3 guys I brought up. Now, with that being said, on any given night, I don't expect Tyrese Haliburton to have 4 points. But also on any given night, I don't expect Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to have 14 points. I don't expect Jokic to have 16 points.
Yes.
I don't expect Ant to have 13 points.
Ron, it's not about the points, though. I don't think
we're looking at the points.
No, it's about okay. But yeah, I did. But hold on. This is what I'm saying. It's not just about the points to me. I'm saying if you watched that game last night, Tyrese was nowhere near a positive at nothing. Maybe one or two passes. Him coming off the pick and roll and they stripping him every time or they stifling him every time just because he won't just because he won't keep dribbling. Him just picking the ball up and getting flustered, or him shying away from the ball when you got guys trying to give him a dribble handoff and he can't get past nobody. He was nothing last night. TJ got in the game and you saw a night and day man getting to live in the paint, 2 feet in the paint every time he drives. Tyrese wasn't giving us that at all. So I understand. I'm not saying Benjamin don't play him, but I'm saying when they started that fourth quarter and you gave TJ a short break at the 10-minute mark, when I would have saw when I would have saw Tyrese Haliburton go in there and do that bullshit he doing, I'm wrapping that shit up in 2 minutes.
I'm glad
because the
said
game
that,
was
Jordan.
closed.
I'm glad
the
you
game
said that,
was
Jordan.
closed.
So from now on, in the future, when we get in the playoffs and I watch Anthony Edwards go 5 for 19, when I watch him go 9 for 22, and he's got 3 turnovers, and we're in a nip and tuck game.
That's not the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
No, it's not.
It's not the exact same thing at all.
If Anthony Edwards is actively making his team worse by being on the court, I will be up here saying Anthony Edwards should not be on the court, especially if someone else is playing. If someone else is playing better, if Dante DiVincenzo is playing crazy and Anthony Edwards is actively hurting his team, I will be the first to say Anthony Edwards should be off the court. Now I want to make it clear: Anthony Edwards shooting poorly does not mean he's making his team worse. Tyrese Haliburton, the biggest issue.
My starting, whoa, Mars, no way, Mars. My starting 2 guard, my leading scorer, who's 9 for 22 or 5 for 19, and that really. By the way,
he's probably just missing good shots, though. I'm probably just missing good shots.
Okay, Haliburton missed some good shots last night.
Not only did he miss,
he missed a couple good threes.
Yes, he
did. I said if they would have went in, the energy would feel a little different.
Y'all are missing Mars's point. Mars is saying that
you can play well and miss shots. You can play well and miss shots. If you are impacting the game, if you are getting downhill consistently, drawing in the defense, finding your open teammates. That's why I said in that game 4, the 128-126 game, I think Anthony Edwards played well, if I remember that game correctly. Now, I'd have to go back and rewatch it. But that was a game where OKC were overloading everything onto Anthony Edwards.
They shut him down.
And they basically took away his scoring as well as they could, said, you don't have the in-between game to beat us. There's another weakness of Anthony Edwards I spoke about. And we don't think you're going to be able to make the right read more often than not. He did. Dante DiVincenzo
had 5 turnovers and went 1 for 7 from 3.
Yes, and
he did not, and he was not being as aggressive as he could.
You can't be
and like I said, and anyone,
you gotta watch the game.
Maybe you don't.
I just told you he had 5 turnovers.
That's cool.
But he was all right in the game.
What I'm saying,
we watched the game on Playback.
In my opinion, Anthony Edwards did not make his team worse. Did he have a great game? In my opinion, no, because I still do think his decision making could get erratic. I do think he got sped up somewhat, and I do think when you're shooting 7 threes and he was shooting some deep threes, they can throw your team off a little bit. But I do think he wasn't making his team worse because the looks Dante DiVincenzo was getting in that game, a large part was because of Anthony Edwards' gravity. The looks that the Pacers were getting last night had nothing to do with what Haliburton was doing. Nothing. Nathan. Congratulations, 7 assists.
Nathan.
Nothing. There was no playmaking going on. There was no downhill pressure going on. There was no drawing multiple defenders going on. There was no getting into the paint going on. There was no great defense going on. He was making the team worse in every conceivable manner.
And they're not doubling them. They playing a one-on-one. They playing a one-on-one.
If Anthony Edwards is making his team worse in the game, I will say he should not.
That's all I'm asking for, Mars.
But I don't think shooting poorly means you are making your team worse.
Right.
You know.
If Haliburton made all of those 4 threes he made last night, if those 4 threes he shot, he made all 4 of them. He had 12 points.
He would be fine.
He still did nothing. He still did nothing. He just made. Congratulations, he made 4 threes. Nothing. But his downhill pressure wasn't there. Would be close. He wasn't playing it yet. It would have made a difference in the game on the scoreboard. But Haliburton still did not play well. Haliburton's game, in my opinion, is not predicated on if he makes or miss shots. And that's the Ron's point. Haliburton can go 3 for 11 or Haliburton can go 7 for 12. That doesn't change his impact on the game. His impact on the game is making the right read consistently, putting the defense in rotation, being an elite passer.
And I can say the same thing.
He didn't do that.
Yeah, okay, and Mars, and I can say the same thing about Anthony Edwards, who, by the way, this season was the best long ball shooter in the game. In those last 2 games, he goes 2 for 14. Don't sit there and tell me that had nothing to do with them not playing bad. Because their offense, I heard everything that you said.
Y'all can say 2 for 14 all y'all want. Tyrese Haliburton played like straight garbage last night.
I ain't saying that he
clearly
didn't,
somebody better. I don't know what we
saying that he played.
I know what my eyes saw. I don't need to.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what we arguing.
TJ
TJ clearly was playing better than him.
I'm not saying that he didn't play good. I'm not saying that he affected the game. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is, in the future, when these guys are playing the way that like TJ played yesterday, in the future, like James Harden, like Anthony Edwards, when this happens, these guys got to sit down.
James Harden should have been benched in game 7.
That's all I'm saying.
Against the
No
Nuggets.
problem.
James Harden. We all agree. Do we all agree? In game 7 against the Nuggets, James Harden should have been on the bench.
Yes, because
he should have been on the bench and got his ass kicked too. Both.
He was not helping. He was sabotaging the team. Can we agree with
100%. I don't. Especially if there's somebody's out there like Chill, you bringing up Anthony Edwards. Oh, but these guys had it going. Part of the reason why they had it going, Dante DiVincenzo on them had it going because of Anthony Edwards that game. You talking about that game 4 where he just wasn't shooting the ball. It's because of him. These guys don't got TJ ain't had shit to do with Tyrese last night. Like nothing. When Tyrese was on the bench, TJ said, I'm gonna come in. I think he scored what? 8 straight for them?
He scored 13 in the third quarter.
Like that's what I'm saying. So my thing is in that fourth quarter, when you put Tyrese back in that fourth quarter, and you seeing at the 10-minute mark, and it went down to 8, and the lead kept going like this. Kept going separating. And part of the reason why.
Well, that's not true. So when Tyrese Haliburton came back in the game, they were down 10. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. They were down 10 when he came back in the game, and they cut it to 4 when he came back.
2 actually.
Yeah. Was it 2 or 4, Ron?
Yeah, no, they cut it to 2.
They cut it. I remember them cutting it to 4.
Remember they cut it to 2, and then that's when J-Dub hit that big 3, and then Casey Wallace got the dunk on the fast break.
Yeah.
When
I remember all that shit happening when
somebody got
Tyrese
ripped at half court.
TJ got out the game. I remember all that shit.
I know that they cut the lead. I know he came back in the game around 10 and a half, something like that.
They
were
cut
down
it to
10.
I want to say on a Pascal dunk or something like that.
And then they ended up cutting the lead to 4. I remember that.
And then J-Dub hit that 3.
So I'm going with you, right? I'm going with you. I ain't on no level, Jordan. I want to make sure
how many times did
on no level am I saying that Tyrese Haliburton was effective last night, because he wasn't.
That's why you
not
just sat him on the bench, though.
All I'm saying is that if you guys are going to tell me this about Tyrese Haliburton in the future, I want to make sure that we use that same logic when Luka is 7 for 30. When Anthony Davis,
chill. They're not.
No, chill.
When
Anthony Davis is 5 for 18 and 3 rebounds, like we've seen him in the playoffs, and he's been completely and utterly ineffective, and he's not doing anything on the defensive end of the floor. When James is 5 for 20 and he's turned the ball over 5 times, his ass needs to sit on the bench. I need to hear that same energy from you guys when this happens to these guys too.
Chill.
Why are you
real quick, Jordan. I feel you on the consistency. You want consistency, that's fine. To Ron's point, Ron saying, "Oh, they won't." And if we don't run, you know why? Because Tyrese isn't as good as those guys. And maybe we should. Maybe we're not. No, wait. Hold on. Maybe we do feel like, you know what? Give them another chance because they're better. My point is this, though, to you, Chill. I want to figure out what is y'all specific pushback. Not you, Ron, because I heard what you said. You said, man, no, TJ probably should have been playing. Chill, you are sticking with this thing about, oh, he took him as far as he could have took him. He need to sit down, let Benedict play and all this and that. What is your specific pushback with TJ McConnell? Because I've been telling y'all all season about TJ McConnell, and every time y'all watch him, he proves me right. Every time you watch him, he proves me right. Man, okay. He doesn't have to be better than Tyrese Haliburton
last night, though.
But he doesn't have to be better than Tyrese Haliburton. I just want to know if the kid keeps proving me right, why are y'all still saying no? Like, I don't understand. Tyrese, he's proving the logic. He plays winning basketball.
But the logic that Chill is saying that TJ took as far as he can go. No, TJ took y'all far as Rick Carlisle allowed him to play. Like, he was playing good as hell, and Rick said, "I'm gonna go back and trust Tyrese Haliburton," which I have no problem with. That's what all coaches are supposed to do. You should, but when you put him in, and the leash got to be shorter from a guy like Tyrese Haliburton. It's different for Anthony Edwards. It's different for LeBron. It's different for KD, because those guys want to be aggressive. This guy, they needed him to be aggressive. They're not doubling Tyrese Haliburton. If you watching the game, they're not doubling him. They just being physical with him, and he can't do shit about it. So for him he's basically a role player now. If he's not creating advantages, he's not getting getting in the lane and creating for others. He's a role player. So
my
why can't a
starting lead
role
guard-
player? Last night he was a role player. Sometimes he's spectacular, but last night he was a role player that was not playing well. Why can't you get him out the game for somebody that is playing well?
He
Why?
did do
Because
that.
he's Tyrese
asking
Haliburton.
But he
you
did do that.
guys-
That's why TJ McConnell was what he was last night. He did do that. And back to my point, he got him as far as he could take him. Ox and I go back and forth with this TJ McConnell thing all the time. I think TJ McConnell is a great backup lead guard. I don't think he's a good backup lead guard. He is a great backup lead guard. But when we get into situations like this, even though my guy isn't playing well, I got to stick with my guy. TJ McConnell came in and he gave me as much as
your
he could
guy
give me.
is not
Are
doing
we-
nothing.
Are we
What did
winning?
he do while you were sticking with him?
Are we winning this game yesterday if TJ McConnell stays in the game?
Look,
We
it
have a
could have been
better
closer. We have a chance. Chill. My thing is with y'all with Tyrese Haliburton. Y'all are saying this as if he's generating something.
Yep.
He wasn't generating nothing but bullshit. He was detrimental to his
That's
team,
my-
and
that's
it was
my
glaring. He's not generating nothing for y'all to
It's
say
not-
stick
it's
with him.
not about
It's
the
not like he
point.
getting to
It's
his
not
spot
about
and
the
just
assist.
missing.
It's not about it. That's why
Yeah.
it's not comparable to a Luka or Anthony.
Or Anthony Edwards, like because he's not getting to the
this
spot.
is what
and
this is
missing.
what needs to
He
be
ain't doing
understood.
shit.
Tyrese Haliburton's value and these superstars' value comes from their ability to create advantages
Yeah.
and then also capitalize on those advantages. If LeBron James is 5 for 20 with 5 turnovers, this is box score. We can guarantee LeBron James is still creating advantages for his team. That is why you can't replace LeBron James with Cam
Anybody.
Reddish
Yeah.
and just say, oh, well, Cam Reddish has made 4 threes. LeBron's 5 for 20. Bench LeBron for Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish
Right.
can't create advantages. So you're not getting the same value just because Cam Reddish has more points and is more efficient. With Tyrese Haliburton and TJ McConnell is last night factually doing Tyrese Haliburton's job better than Tyrese Haliburton. That is why we can scream
100%.
and say Tyrese Haliburton should be on the bench for TJ McConnell. Anthony Edwards and Donte DiVincenzo making 6 threes. He's not creating no advantages. Anthony Edwards is doing that. So you cannot say, oh, Anthony Edwards is 7 for 22. Donte DiVincenzo is 5 for 9. Bench Anthony Edwards for Donte DiVincenzo. Because Donte DiVincenzo is someone who benefits off the advantages created
From
for
Anthony
him.
Edwards. That's exactly
Anthony Edwards is an advantage creator. Tyrese
so what about
Haliburton and TJ are both advantage creators. If Tyrese Haliburton is creating nothing and TJ McConnell is creating everything, bench Tyrese Haliburton for TJ McConnell. If Anthony Edwards is doing nothing and Julius Randle is creating everything, then you can justify, hey, we might not need Anthony Edwards because Julius Randle can take this burden and we'll just go out there with more play finishers. That would make more sense. But not this, oh, well, just bench him for another role player. Because TJ McConnell's role is to create advantages. Donte DiVincenzo's role is to capitalize off advantages. Cam Reddish's role is to be there and look nice. Like, everyone has different roles on the team. You can't just say, well, this guy's shooting poorly. We need to bench him for this role player who's shooting well. Because this role player who's shooting well is directly playing well because of advantages being created for them. That's why it's not comparable. That's why you can't say, well, when Luka's 2 for 11 from 3, we need to.
The reason
That's not the same. It's not comparable.
Okay, and what you just told.
I had to speed home to get part of this. I want to get in this.
What you just told me, Mars, is contradictory to what you told me a little while ago.
What did I tell you a little while?
The advantages part. So you just told me that Tyrese Haliburton, that's his job to create advantages, that's his job to create advantages. And in addition to that, TJ McConnell was doing that. Well,
yes.
Anthony Edwards, that's his job to create advantages.
Yes.
And DiVincenzo, he was capitalizing on those advantages. Well, all of those avenues were already closed for Anthony Edwards to create those advantages with the basketball. Because Anthony Edwards has told us countless times, I don't pass the basketball. That's not my game.
What he says and what he does are 2 different things. Because he can say what he wants. He was passing the hell out that ball. He can say I don't pass, but then when I watch him pass,
that's not my game. That's not my game.
Okay, but that's what he was doing. So am I meant to listen to his words or watch his actions?
But with him being a connector, and I won't argue the point about him being a connector. But with him being a connector, there were other guys who were capitalizing. There were other guys who were capitalizing not on him creating advantages. There were other guys capitalizing on the defense being what it was, and it wasn't because of him. Because him being the long ball, it was him being the long ball shooter that he is. Shooting 1 for 7, getting contested on long ball shots. DiVincenzo wasn't getting wide open looks. DiVincenzo was getting shots where he's contested too, and he's knocking those shots down. Now, don't get me wrong. DiVincenzo isn't the downhill guy that Anthony Edwards is. He isn't the one-on-one player that Anthony Edwards is. But one of Anthony Edwards' main parts of his game is him being a long ball shooter, him being able to score the basketball. And if he's not doing that because lanes are cut off for him, just like with Tyrese Haliburton yesterday, who can get downhill, who can get to the rim, not as consistently as you would like him to, but he can do those things. When he's not doing that, you want him off the floor. Well, the same logic has to go with Anthony Edwards.
No, chill. That's
But
not
the
the
thing is,
same
real quick,
logic.
Gordon,
That's totally
real
not
quick.
the same logic.
I wanna say this.
That's not a contradiction. That's just you just disagree with me. I think Anthony Edwards, regardless of what his words are, and these words are from November, by the way, regardless of what his words are, that man was passing the ball. Regardless of what he says he does, that man was creating advantages. Regardless of how he feels about himself, what he does on the court speaks differently to what he may have said 5 months ago. I'm looking at what he did.
Off and he can't do anything.
What was Tyrese doing last night, though, that you want to stick with? That's what I want to know.
What I said was,
you have yet to answer
overloading on him as a driver and bet on his lack of intermediate game, and they were basically funneling away his driving lanes. But in order to funnel away him as driving lanes, you have to shrink the court. If you shrink the court, that means there are going to be open shooters. Anthony Edwards was finding said shooters. That means Anthony Edwards, just by existing on the court, created an advantage. His existence led to the court being shrunk, which led to open shots. You take Anthony Edwards off the court is no longer shrunk, because the reason the court was shrunk was because of him, which means you can't just take
even
him
if
off
he's
the
shooting
court.
bad.
Yes,
right.
Because his value in that game was his ability to manipulate the defense in a way in which his playmaking was more valuable than his scoring. Now, would it have been better?
His gravity, not necessarily playmaking, but I'll give his gravity, yes. I'll give you his gravity.
Call it what you want to call it. But his impact on the game was not a negative because of that. Now, if he would have made those threes and he would have made more shots, would that have been better?
Yes.
Duh. But he was not hurting his team. He was not making the team worse, because the shot quality with him on the court was better. The looks that guys like Dante DiVincenzo, Jaden McDaniels, Terrence Shannon were getting with Anthony Edwards on the court was improved. That was not the case with Haliburton on the court. Haliburton was not helping the team in any capacity. No one has been able to tell me how Haliburton helped the team yesterday.
I've been asking for that too, though.
That's how you guys know he didn't. You guys are just Chill is arguing that we need to give this same treatment to everyone. And I think I will. I just don't think it applies in the context that he's trying to apply it to, where you shoot badly.
I have an answer to that, though.
I have an answer to that.
Good. You guys were saying like what he did to contribute to the team and whatnot.
Okay.
I do have an answer to that. Some of y'all might feel this. Some of y'all might not feel this. Obviously, Haliburton has been one of the clutchest players in the playoffs that we've ever seen. I'm not just going to say this year, that we've ever seen. In game one, when Haliburton didn't really play good, he was non-existent for most of the game.
Yep.
In the clutch, Haliburton turned it on like he's been doing throughout these playoffs. The reason why, once again, I'm not saying that I take TJ McConnell out the game. I don't take Pascal Siakam out the game. After thinking it through, I probably don't take Nembhard out the game because you're checking SGA. That still leaves me 2 more spots on the floor, on the court. The reason why Haliburton is playing, yes, part of it is because we have stock invested in you. You're our star player, and you are one of our better players. You're depending on how you see it, I think he's their best player. Some people might say he's their second best player. He's their most important player. That's one reason why. You are our most important player. Our most important player is not sitting on the bench no matter what. When the game matters the most. But also, too, I just seen you in game one hit the biggest shot in the playoffs. I've seen you come up big in the clutch time after time after time. This game is heading towards clutch minutes. We are going to need something spectacular to happen, and you are the guy that we have entrusted in to do that, because you are the guy who has showed up time after time after time when we needed you. That's why Haliburton's being on the floor for me. No, you haven't had a good game, but it's also been games where you haven't been good and you showed up clutch. I'm banking on you to do that
aggressive
again.
Though, Ron, he was being aggressive. Last night he wasn't.
In game one, he was not being aggressive. In game one, he was dribbling side to side. In game one, he was turning the ball over. In game one, he was getting cooked on defense.
How many shots did he shoot in game one? How many shots did he shoot in game one?
In game one, Haliburton went 6 for 13, finished with 14 points, had 10 rebounds, 2 for 7 from 3.
So how many shots did he shoot last night?
Last night he shot 6 shots, went over 4.
So he wasn't being so exactly. So that's what I'm saying. He's doing different. Like he wasn't being aggressive last night. That's for sure. He wasn't doing nothing off the pick and roll. And my thing is, they're playing him single coverage.
They played him
If
single
they
coverage
were
first
doubling, yeah. But if
he started getting doubled all series.
You right, but he started being aggressive and it worked out for him. Last night they playing him single coverage and he's doing nothing.
Yeah, Jordan, I get what you're right.
Does that calf injury have something to do with it, Jordan?
He played. I don't even want to talk about the calf.
That's another reason he should have been on the bench.
Injury.
I don't know.
I'm talking about he played. Okay, we can acknowledge that he played bad from start to finish. All I'm saying is in the 10-minute mark when he got back, when he subbed him back in, my thought process as Rick Carlisle, first off, TJ, you're not coming out the game. I said this last night during the game. But I also said last night during the game, I'm bringing Tyrese Haliburton back in because you have shown us that you are a big-time player in the clutch, and we need your fourth quarter contributions. This is what I'm thinking right now. It's easy to say hindsight, oh, I'm not putting him back in the game. Tyrese Haliburton should have sat. Like hindsight, I can agree. He probably should have sat on the bench, and he probably should have went with OB and some other guys. But at that 10-minute mark, it's no way in hell that you guys can convince me that I'm
not saying that. We're not saying don't bring him back at all. We're saying bring him back when you brought him back. By the time we're at 7 minutes and that man still ain't doing anything, okay, bye-bye.
Not even then. I'm still rocking with him. And here's the thing. Next game, if it's the same scenario, TJ balling and Pascal doing what he's doing, if the game plays out the same exact way and it's at the 10-minute mark and I got to put Haliburton back in, I'm putting him back in. If at the 7-minute mark he turns the ball over and he misses a 3, I'm keeping him in the game because it's Tyrese Haliburton.
But I think that's what makes it scary for the Pacers because you can put Tyrese Haliburton, if he's not playing well and you put Tyrese Haliburton in from 7 minutes left to 5 minutes and 30 seconds left, when he comes in the game, it could be a 4-point game. By the time he's out of the game, it could be a 17-point game. We just saw in the fourth quarter OKC generate 4 straight turnovers. 4 straight turnovers. That
Nembhard
the
and
entire
Haliburton.
game up. When you're looking at Tyrese Haliburton, if he's not able to create that rim pressure consistently, it doesn't create more space for guys like Andrew Nembhard to dribble drive, Benedict Mathurin to dribble drive, Aaron Nesmith to dribble drive. It allows OKC to stay set in their position and not give up any rim pressure. TJ McConnell was doing that. TJ McConnell doesn't have the luxury of having a 3-point shot to the level of Tyrese Haliburton. He hit a couple of threes last night, which were really valuable, but he does not have the pull-up 3-point shooting off the bounce just like Tyrese Haliburton does, so he relies more on getting to the rim. And we saw when he got to the rim, it created a lot easier looks for himself.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. You're the player choice way. Comments wish lanes into the player choice way.